What is up, Togs? So if you notice something a little bit different about me, I am decked out in my regalia, my apparel that I purchased from the happiest place on earth, which is, if some of you do not know, is Disneyland. So I took a trip to Disneyland and took a lot of video because I knew I wanted to make a video to show you guys the things that we did while we were there. And a big shout out to my sister-in-law and her husband for showing us the ropes, teaching us the ways of Disneyland and how to get the most out of our trip because we only had 2 days. So huge shout out to them, not only for showing us around, but also for putting us up for a couple days and letting us crash on an air mattress in one of their rooms. So before I show you the highlights from our trip to Disneyland, what I wanted to tell you was, why does a guy like me and his wife, 2 adults, go to Disneyland without their kids? First of all, we were going to go as a family. My kids are going to be able to go with their schools this year, so we decided to just go ourselves. So I know that some people might think it's weird when adults go to Disneyland without kids, especially if they have kids, but I'm definitely one of those people who I just don't care. I love Disneyland and I love Disney, and I think what that stems from is just the feeling of nostalgia. Remembering the way Disney movies made me feel as a kid, and not just Disney movies, but Disney TV shows. And you can say all you want about corporate Disney and the business of Disney. It's just, and this is why so many millions and millions of people feel the same way, is there's a certain way that Disney and Disneyland makes you feel, and you can't get it anywhere else. I hope that any of you who have never been to Disneyland, that this makes you excited maybe to go for yourselves, or if you haven't been in a while, to go back. There's something new at Disneyland. You know, every couple years they add something or they tweak something to make the experience newer and it's more exciting. And if you can't tell, I've been back for a week and I'm still super excited about the trip that we took. I can't wait to share these experiences with you. The last thing I'll say is that there's a spoiler here. We did get to go on the new ride, which is Rise of the Resistance in the Galaxy's Edge, which is the new Star Wars section of the theme park. So if you don't want to get any information about that and you want to just you want that to be your first experience when you go to the park, I will put up a spoiler alert notice before we get to that section. So without any further ado, here is our trip to Disneyland. So before my wife came to join me down in Southern California, I actually spent the first couple of days at a conference for my work and stayed at the Hyatt Regency, which was one of the nicest hotels I'd ever stayed in, and actually was just down the street literally from the park. My conference ended around noon on Friday, so we spent the rest of the afternoon in downtown Disney. One of my favorite stores to go to while we're in downtown Disney is the Lego store, which the Disney monorail happens to go right by. For me, visiting the Lego store is a lot like going to Disneyland in that Legos take me back to a time in my childhood, and I still enjoy building with Legos to this day. For those of you who are Harley fans as well as Lego fans, you probably already heard of this, the Harley Davidson Fat Boy in Lego form. The Lego store in downtown Disney has some amazing Lego sculptures made entirely of Legos. This one here is enormous. So before we hit the park the next day, we got ourselves ready to hit up Galaxy's Edge, which is the new Star Wars section of the park, by visiting the Void, which is a virtual reality experience. They have a few different ones, but the one they had going was for Star Wars, and it was spectacular. It was like virtual reality combined with laser tag, and it was just awesome. But then we were all set to hit up the park the next day.
Yes, I have a
Main Street has some amazing vistas, and at the very end, as you can see, the Disney Castle awaits.
Gotta say hi to Walt first, though. Now here's where the spoiler alert comes in. This is the line for the Rise of the Resistance. Now the whole thing is an experience. I won't even call the Rise of the Resistance a ride, it's more of an experience. It lasts, I would say, probably somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes, depending on how long you wait to begin the actual experience. But the wait is not boring, and there's all kinds of things to look at on the way there. Not everyone who enters the park is going to get a chance to experience the Rise of the Resistance. So if you'd like some tips on how to increase your chances to get boarding passes, make sure you hit me up in the comments or on social media, and I'll be happy to help you out. The experience begins when you receive your mission from Rey and Poe Dameron.
The Resistance desperately needs your help in our fight against Kylo Ren and the First Order. Remember, it is vital that you keep the location of the Bukhara base secret. Lieutenant Beck, one of our top commanders, will lead you.
Affirmative. Transport is ready. 9 Num and I shall personally see them delivered.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Welcome to the cause. May the Force be with us.
Commander Poe Dameron and a squadron of X-Wings shall escort us to the rendezvous point on Bukhara.
Roger, this is Black Leader. I hear you're a fine-looking group of recruits. Well, no time to waste. Let's get you on your way to the General.
Once you receive your mission, you head into a transport that'll take you to a Star Destroyer. The transport serves as your first ride experience for the Rise of the Resistance.
Good. Yes, check the hyperdrive also.
Transport takeoff in 20 seconds.
Hyperdrive meter, good. Airspeed sensor. Thank you, 9.
From there, you'll end up in one of the most amazing set pieces on this ride, which is a room or hangar filled with stormtroopers.
Holy crap.
Where is Grant Adam?
Disneyland cast members only enhance the experience, and big kudos to every one of them who make this ride seem like you're on the set of a Star Wars movie. The last room that you'll end up in is the interrogation room.
Oh my goodness.
Which is the last experience you'll have before you hop on another transport to the end of the ride. Unfortunately, like almost all of the rides in Disneyland, it's really difficult to get any good video while you're on the ride. So you'll just have to believe me that getting to the park when it opens to get your boarding pass is entirely worth the experience. And this last set piece is also just really epic as you exit the ride.
We now return to your regular programming.
Now the rest of Galaxy's Edge is just an incredibly detailed immersive experience into the Star Wars universe. If you're lucky, you'll get a visit from R2-D2.
And, I know, but they're gonna help us find it. It's okay. So what if you wouldn't have decided...
And as we waited in line for the Millennium Falcon ride, the Smuggler's Run, just so much to look at, and I'll just let you take all this in and enjoy the experience for yourself. We were also lucky enough to see Chewbacca and Rey. Chewbacca didn't like my impression of them.
Hello, my friends. I am Hondo Onaka, and this is Onaka Transport Solutions.
Now, I went on this ride 3 times. I got to experience it twice as a pilot and once as a gunner. But no matter what role you get to play once you enter the cockpit, it's all just so much fun.
Move on, my friends. See you in the cockpit. Or be in the cockpit, of course. I'm thinking of... You're still here, go.
Now, from that virtual experience to the actual experience of riding one of Disneyland's most thrilling of ride, Splash Mountain. This is one of those iconic rides, and the drop you see here is just half of the drop that you experience when you go on Splash Mountain. From here we headed on over to Tomorrowland, but before we hopped on any rides, we went to take a visit to the launch bay where we met Boba Fett, but the real experience of the launch bay is the opportunity to meet Lord Vader. Of course, before you get to meet Lord Vader, there's some amazing props that I got to ogle and took some video just for you. And then, of course, we get into the room where we meet Lord Vader. It's just kind of a surreal experience. Very intimidating. I couldn't stop smiling. Neither could that one gal who chose not to have her face revealed in this video. But either way, we all had fun.
The rebel cause. I find your lack of loyalty disturbing. You can serve the Empire or be crushed with the rebels. Quickly.
And then we hopped on over to my favorite ride since I was a teenager, which is Star Tours. We got to get up close and personal with C-3PO.
Security prior to boarding. Droids and domesticated creatures must be cleared by customs.
You also get to meet some fun droids along the way. We said hello to Buzz Lightyear on the Astro Blaster ride. Now, we didn't actually ride Dumbo the Flying Elephant ride, but I couldn't make a trip all the way to Disneyland without sharing some of the magic of this ride with you. Now, if you're in Disneyland fairly recently after you watch this video, I would highly recommend the Magic Happens parade, which goes from It's a Small World all the way to the front of the park, and then back later on in the afternoon. One of my favorite things to see at the park was the diverse casting, one of them being an older gentleman here on the drums. From here we headed on over to Adventureland to experience the Indiana Jones adventure. This is definitely another one of those rides where the inline experience only enhances the ride itself.
Your off-road journey is high speed and turbulent, going over rough and rugged terrain, and then suddenly you are turning sharply and dropping suddenly.
And what's a trip to Disneyland without the Jungle Cruise? I'm not sure if this ride's going to be changed once the movie comes out this summer, but as it is, I love this ride, cheesy jokes and all.
Gorillas are taking over that there. Now, no one make any banana noises. Make sure they find that very appealing. That's a great example of why you never want to get into an argument with a rhino.
Another Disney icon is the Mark Twain Steamboat. Had to capture this for you guys. One of the rides that's been much improved over the years is Thunder Mountain Railroad, one of my favorite coasters in the park. And when the sun sets, the park turns into a whole new experience. And the Galaxy's Edge is no exception. One of my favorite places to visit at night is Tomorrowland. When all the lights come on, it's almost like it transforms into a different place. And of course, the castle at night is just breathtaking. Unfortunately, when we visited, there was a bit of a wind, so there weren't any fireworks, but we were still able to capture the music and lights. And lucky for me, Disneyland brought back one of its epic nighttime productions, FANTASMIC.
Truly monsters.
Day 2 was a real whirlwind. We spent most of the day in Disney California Adventure. Though it still captures the same Disney feeling, it's a much different park. Though Cars Land is mostly an experience for the younger guests, it's still home to one of my favorite rides. And here's my favorite portion of the park, the fairly recently renamed Pixar Pier. This is home to the thrilling Incredicoaster.
Welcome to the Incredicoaster. I'm Elastigirl. For your safety, make sure you pull down on the shoulder restraints and the blocks in place. Keep your head firmly against the headrest and remain seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside at all times.
And Midway Mania, another one of my favorite rides in California Adventure. We did get to make use of our Park Hopper Pass by going back and forth for the Rise of the Resistance and another trip back to visit the Tiki Room. One of the rides I never mustered up the courage to ride previously was the Tower of Terror, but it's since been transformed into Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, and I had to give it a whirl. Though it was a little too thrilling for my wife, I had an absolute blast on the ride, and I would definitely recommend it for thrill seekers. And just like in Disneyland, California Adventure turns into a whole other experience at night as well.
Head back, face forward, and hold on. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
The lights at Pixar Pier in particular are a lot of fun. And don't forget to grab tickets for the World of Color. This has been something that they've done for several years now, and it's one of my favorite shows they put on at Disney California Adventure.
Walt Disney presents
Beauty and told is ours to
I brought back something from the happiest place on earth for you to enjoy. If I did, make sure you hit that thumbs up down there, and don't hesitate to smash that subscribe button. This is that one guy from the Magic Kingdom, and I am out.